this is the fate which you will meet. So as far as the trend is concerned, it is certainly a new trend for them to videograph an event. But as far as the event is concerned, I think it is only to expect. It is only to be expected that such sporadic shootings will take place. The difference in the shooting is that it has been videographed, and the message which it intends to deliver, I think that is a very, very dangerous element in the terrorism which is prevailing in the valley. Over to you.
Saying this definitely indicates a dangerous situation prevailing in the valley. Let's get a word in from Sajid Yusuf Shah. Mr. Shah, how do you view these recent developments? Like I mentioned, according to security forces, this is only the third time that body cameras have been used to videograph a terror attack carried out by a group of terrorists. In this case, the most alarming aspect seems to be the fact that ISIS has claimed responsibility, and security forces have been talking repeatedly about how growing radicalization of some of the Kashmiri youth is now presenting a huge security challenge.
Yes, absolutely. Like you have mentioned, the web cameras which these so-called jihadis are using nowadays. In the past, we have seen how the terror outfit, this TRF, was had uploaded the same stuff on the social media to create fear psychosis among the people. Now the thing is the whole, I think, the responsibility is on the shoulders of the citizens of the Kashmir Valley, especially the Kashmir Valley, because they need to call off this bluff that we don't need so-called jihad who kill people on the name of religion. I was going through the video, which is right now viral on the social media, that how these so-called jihadis are using the this verses of Holy Quran and the name of Prophet Muhammad and Almighty Allah. They were using the name of Prophet Muhammad and Allah, and they were killing the policemen. What message you are going to the world that we are from the we are from the Islam, and the thing is, we believe that that Islam believe that we should kill the people. Now the thing is this whole responsibility comes on the shoulders of these Kashmiri Muslims, especially who are right now in the Kashmir Valley. They need to come on the roads. They should call a spade. And likewise, before the application for Article 37, when the terrorists were getting killed by the security force, they were coming on the roads against these killings. Now the thing is the responsibility of Kashmiri people to come on the streets. They should condemn any kind of killings on the name of jihad.
That Kashmiris should in fact come out on the streets and condemn these terror attacks and any talk of jihad that may be taking place. But Ifra Jan, I know that the National Conference and the PDP have repeatedly raised questions about what has changed since the abrogation of Article 370 in August of 2019. The centre, of course, has been claiming that a lot has changed. Security forces have broken the back of most terror organizations. But given the current situation in the valley, that doesn't quite seem to be the case. But do you agree with Sajid Yusuf Shah, who says that, the right-minded people in Kashmir need to perhaps come out and say that, these kind of jihadi elements and the terror attacks that are taking place are strongly condemnable, especially now that there is talk of ISIS in the Kashmir Valley? I mean, that should worry all of us, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think the first question we must ask ourselves is, who are these right-minded people? I mean, when we talk about my own political party, National Conference, we lost around 5,000 of our sitting MLAs, ministers, senior ministers to bullets. And we, on August 5, 2019, were called Pakistanis, and we were put behind bars. And when abrogation took place, and everybody was called an anti-national. So when you buried the nationalists yourselves because you wanted the political power in Kashmir, who are these people you're looking at? The people who sacrificed don't seem to be the right kind of people. The people who died are not the right kind of people. And that is a separate point. When we look at the abrogation of Article 370 itself, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, National Conference had on that very day said that Article 370 and terrorism had very little to do with each other. And once Article 370 is abrogated, it is not going to be that abracadabra for terrorism. It's not going to be a magic wand. And terrorism as a problem will unfortunately remain until its core is looked at. And now Mr. Yusuf seems to suggest that it is the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the onus lies on the people. I believe the onus surely lies on the people. The onus also lies on the central government to at least start by restoration of statehood to the people, to allow 1 crore 20 lakh people the dignity of voting back, to allow them to choose their own chief minister, their own state assembly, to not take away that dignity away from them, which it did on August 2019, and give them a sense of citizenship, give them a sense of nationality, that we don't want to treat you as stepchildren. Maybe the onus also lies on the central government, and the onus lies on us as well. This is a problem that has been there since 1990s. It's been around more than 30 years. And you cannot push one community to the wall and say, आप ही को सब कुछ करना है, आप ही को सब कुछ करना है. It is a problem that the people of Kashmir will have to solve with New Delhi. It is going to take time. It is going to take peace building initiatives, and the kind of steps that the central government has taken in past 3 years are absolutely not the way to go about it.
Okay, that is interesting. Well, I guess we can agree that perhaps one of the biggest challenges is really the trust deficit that exists between the people and the government of India. And Ifra Jan seems to be making the point that that trust deficit needs to be bridged, and the initiative needs to come from the government of India. She says, what about giving us, the Kashmiris, back our dignity, our sense of citizenship and nationality by giving us back Article 370? Well, that certainly is not likely to happen anytime soon under the BJP government. Let's be very clear about that. And when Sajid Yusuf Shah talks about how the citizens have a role to play, he's, I believe, specifically addressing the issue of radicalization, because that is something that perhaps needs to be fought jointly by the security forces and the people of Kashmir. Let me get in Rakesh Handu at this point. Rakesh Handu ji, when we talk about the terror attacks taking place in Jammu and Kashmir, it's a very complex issue. Several factors come into the picture. There is talk about how ISIS may be posing a challenge to our security forces in Jammu and Kashmir, given that they've claimed Tuesday's terror attack. There is talk about growing radicalization, which is why Mr. Shah says that the youth and the people of Kashmir have to come forward and say that we do not support this in any way. And then Ifra Jan raises questions about what did the abrogation of Article 370 actually achieve. The centre has been claiming that normalcy was going to be restored. What we are witnessing is anything but normalcy. How do you see the situation as it exists in the valley?
Madam, thank you. I fully agree with Mr. Yusuf. Till the time people who are giving them logical support, who are giving them logistic support, till the time they don't condemn openly and come on roads, as he rightly said, people have to wake up. As far as Ifra Jan is concerned, she is just cribbing. It has happened only after Article 370 was abrogated. Let me ask her what is her age. The gun culture came because of NC. It came because of National Conference. 87 election, reached election, when Muslim United Front contested elections against NC and Congress regime. That was the time. And when Farooq Abdullah left us to the bullets and ran away to London, he released, it is documented in Jagmohan's book, My Thousand Trombones in Kashmir. And Mr. Ved, who is ex-DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, he also accepted on records that in one of your interviews, he said more than 70 hardcore terrorists were released. This is the creation of National Conference. Now they have only one crib. They will only crib that Modi has done this, Amit Shah has done this. It is because people, this Article 370 and 35 has been abrogated. After 32 years, Kashmiri Pandits are on roads. Last, after the killing of Rahul Bhatt, when people of minority communities came on roads, where was the civil society? Why they didn't join and support them? Today, most of those people, they were protesting on Jantar Mantar few days back. They are in, relief commissionary protesting for last more than 70 days. Where is Farooq Abdullah? Where is Mehbooba? Where are these politicians who are just cribbing and, blaming government of India? It is because of Article 3. What was happening before this Article 370 was not abrogated there? Was there peace in Kashmir? Can Ifrajan answer my questions?
Okay. Point taken, sir. While, on the one hand, you are well within your rights to ask about, whether the PDP in the national conference have expressed solidarity with the Kashmiri Pandits. At the same time, questions have been asked repeatedly of the BJP-led government at the center, because they have been talking about, the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits for years and decades now. And fact of the matter is that they've been in power at the center for 8 years, and that has not happened. So I think all political parties in that sense are culpable. And let's not forget that the enemy is Pakistan. While we can, engage in as much finger pointing as we want within, let's not allow the enemy off the hook. At the end of the day, if Kashmir has been bleeding for over 3 decades, the primary reason is Pakistan. Let's not lose sight of that. Major General Dhruv Katoch, let me come back to you now. How would you respond to, the argument that's often made? What did abrogation of Article 370 really change? There continues to be bloodshed in the Kashmir Valley. In fact, the Resistance Front, one of the organizations that claimed responsibility for yesterday's terror attack, came into existence as an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba soon after the abrogation of Article 370. How would you respond to that? And also going back to the larger issue of how big a security concern the possible presence of ISIS may be in Kashmir at the moment.
Yes. Now, I was hearing these arguments very carefully, though my audio the connection is not very good. Now, I want to respond to this, the fact of the abrogation of 370. Now, let me make it very clear. Without the abrogation of 370, there could never have been peace. Now, for the first time, we have the possibility of peace, and the number of incidences of violence have come down dramatically from 5th August 2019 till date. If you carry out an analysis of what was the situation prior to 5th August 2019 and today, there is a dramatic sea change. Now, that does not mean that total normalcy has come in. That will still take time. So we will continue to have such isolated incidences which have taken place, which, yes, are a cause of worry. The second question, the second issue raised was restore the dignity of the people. I would like to tell all political parties, if you want to restore the dignity of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, it has to begin with restoring the dignity of the Kashmiri Hindus who have, against whom a genocide has been committed, and for which all of Kashmir is responsible, the politicians and the people. So let not the people get away from the fact that they were also party to the genocide which took place. And it is their responsibility to ensure that the Hindu brothers and sisters come back to the valley peacefully.
Okay.
Otherwise, they are culpable.
Okay. So while I completely agree with you that what happened to,
aspect is concerned,
very quickly, sir, I'm running out of time. Yes.
Terrorism in the valley is on the downswing. It will not last for very long. This year, perhaps a few incidents will take place, but by the time we come to the middle of next year, it would have all but vanished, and Jammu and Kashmir will be a state like any other state.
That's a very optimistic view that in the next 1 year, terrorism would have all but vanished. I am not sure it is that easy, to make terrorism vanish from the valley. And while, yes, sir, it is extremely unfortunate what's happened to Kashmiri Hindus and Kashmiri Pandits, the fact that they were uprooted in their own, from their own land and have been living as refugees in their own country. But at the same time, let's not forget that every single day when there are terror attacks taking place, there are also Kashmiri Muslims being killed in those terror attacks. So I don't think it is, it would be very healthy or wise on our part to sort of deepen this already existing divide between the Hindus and the Muslims in the Kashmir Valley. They are both equally victims of terror in Kashmir. I think that is something we can agree on. Sajid Yusuf Shah, do you want to very quickly respond to what Ifra Jan says? She says, fine, we citizens may have a role to play, but don't shift the onus of the responsibility entirely to us. What about the role of the center and the fact that they stripped us of our rights and dignity and even census citizenship and nationality back in 2019?
See, it's very easy to kill a terrorist, but it's very hard for any government to kill, to vanish the terrorism once for all. These things may take a little bit time. Like Ifra was saying about that government should restore the statehood of the Jammu and Kashmir so that peace will prevail. I must tell her one thing, that do you seriously think that these terrorists are killing security forces, civilians, just because we don't have the right now statehood? Do you seriously think these terrorists are killing security forces and civilians just because government of India has scrapped the abrogation of Article 370? Do you seriously think these things are happening and these things will change once we will get the statehood? Not at all. Because reason being is when we had a state, this Jammu and Kashmir was a state. Before, when we had this Article 370 were there, to how things were different at that time.
Okay, let me
We
get
are well
Ifra to
aware,
respond
and
to that
Ifra
because I have limited
herself
time.
mentioned that India has
Both
lost
Sajid
so many
and General
MC workers
Katoch are
in
making
the
that
terrorism.
point.
How
So,
things
okay, I
that time.
take your point.
That's
So,
why
so
I am
very
saying
quickly,
onus
Ifra.
lies on the
Okay,
civilians.
Ifra, very
Onus
quick
lies on the
response.
Kashmiri people who need
You
to
know,
call a
every
spade
other
who
panelist
need to call
saying,
up this
okay, point
that we
taken,
don't need
Sajid.
this so
Sajid, point taken. I have left very little time left on the show.
apology.
Ifra, 1 second. Let me get my question in. All the other panelists are saying you have to, stop linking abrogation of Article 370 to what's happening in the Kashmir Valley. Terrorism began in the Kashmir Valley more than 3 decades ago. It continues today. While you can have your opinion on abrogation of Article 370, but you need to view the terror attacks that are taking place, being clearly sponsored by our neighboring country, through a different lens.
Yeah. You see, number one, it was not the national conference that linked Article 370 and terrorism. It was the BJP government on the floor of the parliament that linked the two together and said when we remove Article 370, terrorism is going to go away. It is not us. It is the BJP that said it. So it's the question that
I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. While their claim certainly stands belied because terrorism has continued, but at the same time, Ifra, what the panelists are telling you is you cannot say give us Article 370 back and peace will be restored in the Kashmir Valley.
Absolutely not.
Neither
I
is
would want
true.
to
Neither is
clarify
true.
that point.
Yes.
I would want to clarify that point.
Yes.
I have not anywhere said that if you restore Article 370, it is a magical wand, terrorism is going to go away. Somebody on the panel repeatedly made a point that there is trust deficit, that people of Jammu and Kashmir need to now clearly come out, support the central government. I am saying if you want the support from the people of Jammu and Kashmir, you cannot do that when you've actually converted them into a union territory. When you've taken away the power of their vote, each of their vote, converted them into a union territory, and now you're going to the same people and saying कि आप हमको support क्यों नहीं कर रहे, आप सड़कों पे क्यों नहीं आ रहे?
Win their trust. It cannot be a one-way process. Point taken. I'm completely out of time. Rakesh Handu, very quickly, sir, 30-second response. Ifra says, of course, as citizens, we want to make our voices heard. We condemn the violence and the terrorism that's happening. But the center needs to reach out to us, the people of Kashmir. She's not speaking just as a politician. She's speaking as a Kashmiri. Do you not agree that, trust can only be built when both parties are on board?
Let me tell you, I'll tell you the history. I don't know
Sir,
whether she knows it or she does not know.
We don't have time for more history, sir. No, we don't have time for more history. I'm sorry, sir. I am completely out of time. आप बार-बार 87 पे वापस जा रहे हैं. मेरे पास history lessons के लिए time नहीं है. Please wrap up this discussion in 30 seconds for us. What do you think is the way ahead?
Way ahead is people have to join hands with the national party. They have to support Modi ji. They have to support Amit Shah ji. Then only peace will prevail in Kashmir. Otherwise, this will continue for another 32 years. There is no other solution, because the biggest issue is these people come from Pakistan. They come with arms and ammunition. Where they stay? Who is providing? You can see in Rahul Bhatt's case, or the bank manager was shot blank. Where were the staff? Where was when that Rajasthan employee was shot dead? Where was the local staff? So anyway, I'm just indirectly saying there is a local support also. People need to come out, condemn those people who are supporting them.
Okay, so there is local support. This is a reality we cannot be in denial about. Radicalization on the ground is a challenge. security forces also believe it is. The question really is, how alarming is the situation currently, especially given that the Islamic State may or may not have come into the picture. At least the claim is that they carried out Tuesday's terror attack that left one police officer dead and another two injured. Let's certainly hope that the situation can be brought under control at the earliest in the Kashmir Valley and no more precious lives are lost. On that note, thank you so much to all my guests for joining me on the show. Time for us to take a quick break here. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more on the other side, including why medical aspirants are now knocking on the doors of the Delhi High Court.
New Citroën C3. Express your style.
For 60 minutes, we get you pure political news, the inside stories, and tracking the biggest political developments. Massive political developments taking place in the state of Maharashtra. In the city of Udaipur in Rajasthan, where a shocking incident has come to light, Draupadi Murmu is all set to campaign in the state of Jharkhand. What is the attempt of the Congress party? Shouldn't you be hitting the ground running? Can BJP trump KCR in his home ground?
Hello everyone, you're watching Sports Ahead.
Very own motorcycle brand Royal Enfield.
Hello and a warm welcome to all those tuning into People's Editor, show that keeps people, you and your issues ahead.
Chennai police have arrested a woman. Karnataka Minister Umesh Katti has said BJP General Secretary of Andhra Pradesh.
Welcome back. There are growing demands now for the postponement of the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, or NEET UG, as students from across the country have approached the Delhi High Court. Apart from NEET postponement, the petition also seeks an extra attempt at the NEET UG 2022 exam. The court is expected to take up the matter for an urgent hearing tomorrow. NEET UG 2022 is scheduled to be held on the 17th of this month, and admit cards were released for this exam yesterday. Now, medical aspirants argue that NEET UG should be deferred for at least 40 days, as the NEET